Somehow, Rey's Star Wars movie has returned. So I open the internet and I see Daisy Ridley's Star Wars movie enlists writer George Nolfi, which I was honestly surprised. I thought this project fell to the wayside. I mean, 2 months ago we got an article reading Disney removes Rey Skywalker Star Wars movie from 2026 slate last year as Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy said the new film would follow Rey as she builds a new Jedi Order. And it's pretty lucky for the character of Rey. She's been a Palpatine, she's been a Skywalker, and supposedly there were rumors that she's going to take on an Obi-Wan role. She gets to collect Star Wars roles like Infinity Stones at this point. But the real question for me is, 15 years later, clearly Daisy Ridley doesn't look that old. They could use makeup. She's a fine actress. There's nothing wrong with her, but the legacy characters are kind of gone. You cannot rely on the late, great Carrie Fisher to help carry it. Luke Skywalker would have to be some Force ghost. How does Rey build a new Jedi Order? In fact, does anybody want to see Rey's Jedi Order? Personally, I don't. I mean, I always wanted to see Sebastian Stan, as he said he would love to be grant Star Wars fans' wish as Luke Skywalker. He's even spoken to Mark Hamill about it. We have seen so much about Luke Skywalker's Jedi Praxium in the expanded universe. We've seen a snippet of it in The Mandalorian. I would watch the shit out of that series, whether it's a TV series or especially a trilogy, as he builds it and he has to deal with things like, again, we've seen so much. Jedi Outcast, where one of his students goes rogue and builds his own reborn order with the remnants of the Empire. I can go on for days. I don't have to. Let's focus on the article as things continue to spiral down. As it states, George Nolfi, known for his screenplay work on movies such as The Bourne Ultimatum and Ocean's 12, has been tapped to write New Jedi Order with the Daisy Ridley-centric Star Wars movie. And this signals continued faith in the project, which was announced to great fanfare almost 2 years ago at Star Wars Celebration in London, but has seen several high-profile writers fall into the trash compact. Disney can't even keep writers. This guy, these are impressive credits, but it's from 2004 he wrote Ocean's 12. The Bourne Ultimatum is 2007. He's barely cracked 8.0 out of 10 in terms of writing, and nothing's gone close to an 8 since then. I'm not trying to diminish his work. He's a writer-director. I have nothing but respect for that, but it's not like he wrote, Blade Runner 2049 or something that I know that is in the wheelhouse of Star Wars. But things get much, 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 much worse as the article goes on. Because if you thought his writing was a little bit out there, this next part is going to rock your socks. Documentary filmmaker Shameen Obaid-Chinoy is due to make her narrative feature debut with the project, with Ridley due to reprise the role of lightsaber-wielding Rey Skywalker, the character she played in Disney's sequel trilogy. I would hope Daisy Ridley would play Rey. But Shameen Obaid-Chinoy, let's look at these words that they've chosen. Narrative feature debut, which means she hasn't been a narrative writer or writing movies. It's a pretty way of saying she hasn't written movies. So why, if you've lost a bunch of writers, would you hire somebody that hasn't? The plot thickens. Shameen Obaid-Chinoy is a Canadian Pakistani journalist, filmmaker, and political activist known for her work in films that highlight gender equality against women. She's a political activist. I don't understand how there would be a need for somebody to work on gender equality if Rey is running the show in the Jedi Temple. Do people just say women can't be Grand Masters or something? Like they forget about Satele Shan back in the day in the Old Republic? Like, why would you want a political writer? Especially because people have pretty much demonstrably said recently, we just want story. We don't care about your politics or agenda. Star Wars is rife with politics, but George back in the day wrote it more subtly, where it was enjoyable and clearly cared about the story passionately. Disney doing these agenda hires, maybe it flew in 2015 when people were naive, but it's being shown in a smattering of projects. It just doesn't work. You have to respect the franchise and the story first and foremost. So, we'll continue. The new story is said to take place 15 years after the events seen in 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, with Ridley's character now a mentor to a new crop of Jedis. I thought that Jedi was already plural. I could be wrong. Look, this is the thing to focus on. How is she going to be a Grandmaster level, or at least a Master? I know I'm saying something that doesn't make sense, is clearly Luke was on his own a lot. He did have help from Ben and Yoda and others, but without legacy characters, thinking from an audience standpoint, who's going to care? We already didn't care about the sequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy characters. Who's going to care about the sequel trilogy characters? They don't care about Rey. They're not going to care about her students. Very, very hard sell. It goes on to say Damon Lindelof from Watchmen and Lost and Justin Britt Gibson were initial writers on the project working on it before Obaid Chinoy was brought on. So they already had writers that seemed pretty good leave. By the time Ridley was revealed as returning in April 2023, Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight was clacking away at the keyboard, but by October 24, he was no longer on the project. Why are people leaving this project? Why doesn't Disney announce it? Again, Rian Johnson's movie trilogy, axed, nixed, heard nothing. The Rogue Squadron, nixed. David Benioff and Weiss of Game of Thrones, all gone. Not to mention a smattering of games that have fallen to the wayside. It's such bad PR. I digress. The script delays have pushed back any hope for production starts for the project, which at one point was being eyed to follow the recently wrapped feature, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which will be released May 22nd, 2026. At least that project has been wrapped. However, there's been a leak that one of the villains, and I hope not the main villain, is Embo, the bounty hunter, the guy that Dave Filoni created in Clone Wars. Dave Filoni loves to add his characters from Clone Wars, whether it be Cad Bane to Boba Fett, which was terrible. Embo is not somebody to carry the show, especially because Dave voiced Embo from memory. So instead, the next Star Wars movie that we'll shoot will be the Untitled project from director Sean Levy that got a major boost by capturing the interest of Ryan Gosling, who is now in negotiations to star in it, which I made a video on and Hollywood Reporter exclusively revealed this week. Now, Sean Levy is the guy. Obviously, Ryan Gosling was amazing. I did mention Blade Runner 2049. It's a movie that really stands up in my head, as his acting was phenomenal. Sean Levy, though, he just did Deadpool and Wolverine, which was the weakest of the three, bar Wolverine. Obviously, everybody loves an Aussie Hugh Jackman. Like, we just wanted to see him in the cowl. It was fan service great. Sean Levy did Stranger Things, also pretty good, but he did a lot of popcorn movies with Ryan Reynolds, like The Adam Project and shit, which I am not a fan of. Anyway, the article ends saying Nolfi is known for writing elevated thrillers across a variety of genres and for establishing strong relationships with his actors. He worked on two Bourne action thrillers with Matt Damon 20 years ago, not to mention Ocean's 12 before going on to make his directorial debut with The Adjustment Bureau, a 2011, which is like nearly 15 years ago, sci-fi thriller that starred the actor as well as Emily Blunt. He directed and co-wrote 2020's The Banker, a period race drama that starred Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson, two amazing actors, and then reunited with Mackie's 2024 Elevation, an India post-apocalyptic thriller. I haven't heard of these. Look, when I see these things though, like, oh, he did a period race drama, I'm like, do you know how diverse Star Wars is? You better not have hired him based on those credentials. Hiring an activist journalist to write something, like an actual story that requires structure and obviously, like, you want somebody that isn't new to the game. Look, there could be like some infinitesimally small chance that she is amazing and I'm going to eat my words and I will happily do it. Because I love Star Wars. I just want good Star Wars to come out. But by my estimation, that's by hiring competent people, first and foremost, who care about the franchise and the story and doing right by the fans and delivering a product that we all know and love and can celebrate, not shoving identity politics or agenda or any of that crap down our throats that I am so sick of. I don't want to think about politics or any type of social activism when I go to the movies. I just want to go, it's a like sci-fi fantasy. You want to go to forget your problems and enjoy a big Star Wars romp. But 3 films, 3. Absolutely brutal. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Have I been too harsh? Am I on point? I would love to hear your discussion, because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that.